Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, we have a look at the last 3 games in the NRL's Round 9 weekend. The semi-finals of the 1895 Cup were played, and I have highlights from one of the games. And we round up the Betfred League 1 results and scorers for this weekend in round 7. So we'll begin with the last match that we didn't cover, that on Saturday morning, Saturday evening, wherever you were, which was between North Queensland Cowboys and the Newcastle Knights. Both sides are in completely different form at this moment in time, as 13 places separate the two sides, with the Cowboys in 3rd, while the Knights are on bottom of the table, 16th. This match saw the Newcastle Knights travel to the North Queensland Cowboys on a 6-match losing streak. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have been on a roll, winning their last 3. So team news for both sides. For the Cowboys, Ruben Cotter and Tom Gilbert earned their starts against the Eels, so do so again on home turf, with the Cowboys coach Todd Payton sticking with the side that was named early in the week. Amiso Tabuai Fidel is confirmed to come off the bench after a super sub effort last week. For the Knights, Tyson Frizzell is a massive loss for them, with Jack Johns to start in the second row. Nathaniel Sasagi promoted to the interchange bench. Texoy replaces Jake Clifford in the halves, but could shift to fullback on game day, with Caleb Pongia coming into the 5'8 position. Lachlan Fitzgibbon and Dominic Young are both cleared to return from knee injuries in a boost for the visitors, and will take their place for Saturday's game. The game had a high temperature and humidity in Townsville, making the ball handling in the first half difficult. The Cowboys dominated early, scoring through Tom Dearden after 2 minutes. With even possession, the Knights hit back with a try from Dominic Young. The rest of the half was an even contest, with the sides threatening when in possession. The Cowboys extended their lead to 8 with a try from Cal Felt, and then not long after, the Knights' Jacob Safiti closed the gap to 2 with a try in the 29th minute. The Knights started to dominate possession in the latter stages of the first half, and a Chris Randall try in the 38th minute put the Knights in front right on the halftime hooter. Caleb Pongia and David Clemmer were strong for the Knights in the first half, while Jason Tamalolo and Jeremiah Nane dominated for the Cowboys. The first half was definitely a great contest, with both the Cowboys and the Knights having the capacity to carry their momentum right through into the second half. North Queensland, though, came into the second half looking hungrier for the victory to get under their skin of their opponents. The Cowboys dominated possession and field position in the early stages of the second half, which resulted in early tries for Murray Talagi and Valentine Holmes, giving the Cowboys an 8-point lead. The Knights lost players in quick succession, 2 of, losing Jack Johns to a possible broken arm and Edric Lee to concussion. From that point, it was just going to be difficult for the Knights, who were down to just 15 men for the game. The Knights began to struggle after this, having little to no possession close to the Cowboys' line, never taking advantage of having the ball and threatening the scoreboard. The Cowboys added 2 more tries from kicks to Jeremiah Nane and Eliam Lukey to finish off the game. The Knights' performance was an improvement on recent efforts, but still lacked the quality of the Cowboys, who won their 4th game in a row. Home comforts for the Cowboys as they went in 36 points to 16 victors and a 4-game winning spree. The next report I have is on the first Sunday game, where the Storm faced the Dragons. The Storm were looking for a win to take them above the Panthers in the league table after the Penrith's defeat to Parramatta, while the Dragons are looking to extend their winning run to 4 victories after wins against the Knights, Roosters and Tigers in the last 3 games. The home side came into the team naming with only one minor change to the 18-man squad that they had named previously, as Jordan Grant moved back to the 18th man and Chris Lewis comes onto the bench. The Dragons, however, have a couple of late changes for the Red V ahead of the kickoff. Tarek Sims will now start at prop, shifting Jack Bird to the back row, while Talutal Amone is to start in the 5'8 position. George Burgess dropped out on Saturday, with Jaden Sullivan joining the bench. We go into the first half, and the first 3 sets were all in the hands of Melbourne Storm, and they were looking to get the ball rolling, with Jesse Bromwich crossing over the line, although it was called back due to an obstruction by the Storm. The Dragons could hardly get into the attacking position, and the only time they did was off the back of a Melbourne Storm penalty. Storm dominated the possession, ending the half with nearly 10 extra sets than the Dragons, and it looked like they were finally on the board with Nason Asafa Solomona, but the play was called back for a knock-on this time. From the next set, they finally scored the first try with Brian Pappenhausen, adding another to his outstanding early season tally. A late try in the half to Nick Meaney from a Dragons error gave the Storm a comfortable 12 points to 0 lead at the break. The second half started out with the Melbourne Storm just as dominant in the first, only this time they were able to make their advantage tell. Ryan Pappenhausen finished off a full field try 8 minutes into the second half. The effort ended the fullbacks match though, picking up a hamstring injury, but it was the start of a points rush to the Melbourne Storm as they ramped up the intensity. First, Jerome Hughes scored off the back of a Cameron Munster kick, and that was followed quickly by the Storm 5'8 scoring one of his own. The Dragons failed to shut down the offloads and meters as the Melbourne Storm ran in another try from Nelson Asafa Solomona. Jack DeBellin added a try for the Dragons, but it was the last try of the match as Trent Loreora finished off another dominant Melbourne performance going forward. And that was the final points of the game, as we saw the Melbourne Storm come out 42 points to 6 fixes. The final game of round 9 was a tie between the Sharks and the Warriors at the PointsBet Stadium, as Cronulla were looking to get over a round 8 defeat to the Broncos. The Warriors are an indifferent team at the moment, as one week they are losing by 60 points and they follow that up by Golden Point wins. The key battle will obviously be between the Sharks' old halfback and their new, as Nico Hines goes up against his predecessor in Sean Johnson. The Sharks sit well in 4th place due to their early season form, while the Warriors haven't got going yet and still sit in 11th. Now on to the teams. The Sharks have Connor Tracy promoted from the reserves list on this to start on the wing as he returns from injury for the first game since round 3. Ronaldo Mulitalo is out with an illness. Del Finucane moves to prop, with Aidan Tolman moving back to the bench. Cameron McInnes starts at lock for the first time in his Sharks career, while Andrew Fafita comes onto the bench. Club captain Wade Graham comes off the bench for his second appearance after getting through 23 minutes last week. There are no changes to the visitors, a heartwarming sight for all league fans, with Dylan Watani-Zelezniak back after a nasty concussion against the Storm on Anzac Day. Watani-Zelezniak replaces Jesse Arthurs, who has a shoulder injury on the wing, with Rocco Berry and Viliami Vilaya maintaining their spots in the centre. Bailey Sirenen moves to the 18th man, replacing Alessia Katoa in the back row, while Aaron Penny returns from a one-match suspension on the bench. Now, the Warriors started the match with enthusiasm and earned themselves an early penalty and barged up the field deep into the Sharks' territory. Some slick passing almost sent Ewan Aiken across the line, but solid defence stopped him. The Warriors had another shot when they put up a kick, but it was defused safely by Sione Katoa. The sides traded error-free sets for a spell until a poor defensive read for the visitors saw Jesse Romain get a half break before going through the hands to Katoa, then to Nico Hines, who ran the remaining 40 metres to score the first try of the afternoon. The New Zealand Warriors fought back with robust sets and earned themselves a repeat set after Sean Johnson's grubber Katoa had to bat out over the sideline. The Warriors had a few attempts to score, but the Sharks' line held firm and forced an error from Matt Lodge. The home side started to look ready to get themselves out of trouble, but an error found themselves handing the ball back to the New Zealand side in the great field position. Reece Walsh made a little break before he gets clotheslined by Will Kennedy. This saw the fullback getting his marching orders with a red card. Kennedy, that is, not Walsh. With the extra man, the Warriors wasted little time to shift the ball quickly to the right for Dalen Watani-Zelezniak to score. A few minutes later, the visitors were over again after Walsh spied a gap and darted away before flicking a pass to Dejan Arce even, who kicks through for Velami Velea to score. A Warriors' errors on the next set though handed the Sharks the let-off they needed, and after earning several repeat sets, they finally got across the line when Taig Wilton crashed through a tackle to score. Hines converted to get the Sharks back the lead. The Warriors looked sure to have scored again, but looked lost on the fifth tackle with the ball switching to several players before Watani-Zelezniak finally put a wayward kick through, which Katoa scooped up. The Sharks got themselves all the way down the field, and once again, it's almost scored via Wilton, but he was deemed to have lost the ball. The Sharks were not letting the fact that they were down a man bother them, as they almost scored on the stroke of half-time, but Hines' crossfield kick was not taken in by Katoa. We go into the second half and the Warriors look threatening right out of the gates but lack polish. Johnson put a kick up on the 5th for Pompey, who managed to catch it and flick it back inside for Velea, but Hines managed a huge try-saving effort, forcing an error out of the young centre. The Warriors were asking the questions again a few sets later, but an unforced error by Johnson handed the ball back to the home side. Cronulla had a solid set, earning themselves a repeat set, and they wasted little time, moving the ball out to the left for COC for Talecki to send over Connor Tracy in the corner to push the lead out by 6. The side went for sets, with neither side able to gain the upper hand until Jesse Rahman was simming for a high shot on Aiken. With a 2-man advantage, the Warriors made hard work for themselves, with some poor attacking plays and handing the ball back to the Sharks with wayward passes. Wasn't the best of games for the Sharks, I'm afraid. For the Warriors, I'm afraid. It was even worse in a few more moments. The Sharks marched up the field but with ease after the wayward passes, but could not convert it into points. Then Warriors surged back upfield with the aid of a penalty, but once again looked lost with the ball in hand and made a poor last tackle option. Cronulla dominated this game despite the circumstances and had several sets camped on the Warriors' line. The visitors were scrambling, and eventually the Sharks were over again when Tracy dotted down for his second try after a massive cutout pass saw the Warriors napping. With a 12-point lead, the Sharks looked unstoppable and continued to charge up the field, and it looked like Tracy was over once again, but the pass was deemed forward. After several horrible attacking sets, the Warriors managed to get a more balanced set and completed it only to give a penalty away, allowing the Sharks to stride up the field before Hines pushed his side out to 13 points ahead with a drop goal. Cronulla were not finished yet, moving the ball up the field with ease once more. Hines put a kick in, and it was tapped back, and the Warriors looked to have wrapped up the ball carrier, but gave up on the tackle, which saw the ball offload to Romain, who crossed for the Sharks' 5th try of the night. The Sharks were penalised deep in their own half, handing the Warriors ideal field position, but they continued to look clueless in attack, shifting the ball from left to right and back again before Dejan Assi dropped the ball. This saw the final whistle and the final score of Cronulla 29, New Zealand Warriors 10. The AB Sundecks 1895 Cup, the new traditional trophy for Challenge Cup weekend, as 4 teams out of 6 are left in the tournament to go on to the curtain raisers, which is also a final, and win a trophy in this 2022 season. Now, the 2 games were Featherstone versus Barrow and Leigh versus Sheffield Eagles. The Eagles are the first winners of this trophy, so we're looking to get back to, this time, a final at Tottenham to win a cup, which is unlikely in the regular league season. The first points of the game went to Sheffield Eagles as Thackeray kicked forward, and it's Chris Wellham who goes over for the first try of the game. Isaac Farrell converted and then added a penalty to give the Sheffield Eagles a 8-point lead at this point. Leigh were attacking down the centre of the field and went to the right and went through the hands of John Asiata, and Sam Stone scored their first try of the game, which was made 8 points to 6 due to a conversion. But Sheffield Eagles went into the at half-time 10 points to 6 up due to a penalty by Farrell, extending the lead even further. But the second half swung the completely different way. After half-time, as Ben Reynolds was caught hold up short, it was Kai O'Donnell who scooted over for Leigh's try to let them take the lead for the first time, which they extended to 12 points to 10. After another Isaac Farrell took it to 12 all, it was Leigh that scored the next try, after a Ben Reynolds kick to the left edge was caught by Nene McDonald, who went over for the Leathers to extend their lead to 18 points to 12. A controversial try next after Mellor found Caleb Aitken, who looks from this angle as if he was held up, but the referee gave the try to extend Leigh's lead. After the try was converted in a 24-12 lead, an interception by Ed Chamberlain saw him run untouched to the try line to send Leigh into the final with a 28 points to 12, which was made 30 points to 12 with the kick. Leigh now go to Spurs for the curtain raiser on May the 28th. The other semi-final was played on Sunday also, just before the league game, and we see that Featherstone, the holders of the 1895 Cup, took on the Barrow Raiders in Barrow's home turf. It was quite simple, this one. Unfortunately, we don't have the highlights for this game, but it was Featherstone who came out resoundingly winners. Despite a 46 points to 6 foul time scoreline, Barrow had kept the score down to 16-0 at half time, despite Morgan Smith, Craig Hall and Luke Briscoe, as well as Hall kicking 2 out of his 3 goals, giving all the points to Featherstone. In the second half, though, it was a different, complete entity, as the Rovers ran in 5 tries, as John Davis, Brett Ferris, Mark Corella, Riley Jackson and Luke Briscoe all went over a try apiece. Right, Craig Hall finished on goal-kicking duty with 7 kicks from his 8 attempts. The Raiders' response was just after John Davis's try to make it 22 points to 0, as Dan Toll scored the try, and Jacob Samet scored the only goal for the Raiders. We finished this week's episode with a look at the Betfred League One scores and scorers, as they were the only league fixture in the professional game that took place during this weekend. Everyone else in the Championship and Super League had the weekend off. Well, there were 2 games on Saturday to begin with. Rochdale Hornets beat Midlands Hurricanes 44 points to 22 in a very hard-fought game up until half-time, as it was 18 all. Tries from Green, Tyra, who scored twice, Nixon, Brearley, Fui Moi Moi, Benyon, McNally, and 6 goals from Sheridan all sealed the points for the Hornets, while the Hurricanes had Freeman, Bull, Hardcastle and Wellham for all their 4 tries and 4 conversions from Hardcastle to score their 24 points. The next scoreline was 46 points to 4 to Keighley Cougars, but that was a much better performance for West Wales in the circumstances for this season. After Mulkeen scored the points for West Wales in the second half, it was 22 points to 0 to Keighley Cougars. Agoro scored twice and Miller with a hat-trick, while Feather, Roebuck, Stevenson and Graham all got a try apiece for the Cougars. Miller kicked 5 goals. The reason why I'm saying it's a better result for West Wales, as they were last playing against Oldham and were beaten 100 points to 0. So going from a mid-table team getting thrashed by a Century to a 46 points to 4 defeat against one of the table toppers, that's progress in the right direction. One team that could be finding themselves drawn into the quagmire though are Doncaster, as they were beat against the pace-setters North Wales Crusaders 46 points to 0. 28 points to 0 at half time. Tries from Moores, who got a double, Patrick Arvan, Reed, Massam, Barrett, Holmes and Rodden sealed the victory for the Crusaders. There were 7 conversions for Johnson as well to seal the deal. Hunslet beat Cornwall 52 points to 16. After what was a 22 points to 12 scoreline, Cornwall had much to be joyful about from that first half performance. But it was 30 points to 4 in the second half, which isn't so good for the newest side to rugby league. Watson scored a double, while Hallis, Hager scored twice, Reety as well got a double, and Moran as well as Doyle got a try apiece, while Sanderson kicked 8 goals. For Cornwall, Whitton, Aronson and Prisk all got over the try line. Purcell got himself 2 conversions also. And in the final game we're going to talk about, Swinton Lions beat the London Scholars 58 points to 14. All the damage was done in the first half, as the Swinton Lions went into the sheds 30 points to 6 in the lead. Charnock got a double, while Roberts got a hat-trick, and Hayes got a double, while Hatton, Brickhill and Lloyd all got a try apiece. Hanson got 1 conversion, while Abram took 8 kicks and kicked 8 goals. For the Scholars, Yates, Small and Ball all got on the try scoring sheet, but Ramsey only could convert 1 of those tries. So here is the league table after the round 7 games. North Wales Crusaders lead the way with 7 wins from 7 and 14 points on the board. But Keighley Cougars, who have still got to make up their game due to their week off, are also unbeaten with 12 points from their 6 games. Rochdale Hornets are third with only 1 defeat from their 7 games, and Swinton Lions, after their week off, come back with the win. It's Oldham's weekend off, so they have got 2 wins from their 6 games going into the bottom half of the table, which sees Midland Hurricanes below them just because they played that 1 game more and have conceded more points. Then the bottom 3 are still Cornwall, London Scholars and West Wales Raiders, as all 3 have yet to pick up a point in their 6 games played so far. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any updates or new videos that may be coming your way. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's video, as I'd like to hear all your feedback once again, as we like to grow this channel. Well, I would, to improve the experience for you and anyone who comes along who wants to know about rugby league. Let's parachute these people in after giving them an introduction somewhere, and then they know what we're talking about at the end of the day. The comings and goings, the ins and outs of the league. Anyway, I digress. Please remember to join our Facebook page for any discussions that you may have or any points that you want to bring across for the group to discuss, as we'd like to hear from you, anyone who wants to be involved. So, what was your result of the weekend? Tell me in the comments below. Mine? I think, looking at the results once again, Parramatta beating the Penrith Panthers. Yes, the Panthers were depleted due to numbers on the pitch and up in the coaching booth. The rest of the squad was still champions, and they should have had that support to get through. Tell me what yours is. I'd like to hear back more. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll now wish you all the best. Please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.